Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio. This is the Ramsey Show, where we help people win in their life, specifically with their money, their work, and their relationships. The phone number to jump in is 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by my colleague, George Camel. They call us Ramsey personalities. That has nothing to do with our multiple personality disorders. It's
also assuming we have a lot of personality.
Yeah, you may not think we have any personality at all. George and I tend to think that we're quite funny and pithy.
We're better than watching paint dry.
That's fair.
The bar.
That's fair. We've been known to be called the root beer float of the Ramsey Show. When you have the, obviously we have two of us hosting every day, any combination, and it's started to stick a little bit. And so that means we have fun. I will tell you this, George and I are going to have fun. We enjoy being around each other.
If nothing else.
We're going to have fun with you. We're not going to yell at you, scream at you. We'll poke a little fun. George is here to take your money questions. He answers the questions, honestly, sometimes better than Dave. I'll just be honest. I just said it.
Wow. Yeah, Easy to say when the big guy's not here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He's not here. He's probably on the golf course. But you're much nicer is all I'm saying there. And then I'm here. I'm the work guy. I hate the word expert, but I help you with work issues because your income is your greatest wealth building tool. So how many of you want to make more money? How many of you want to do it in a place where you're valued? And so I'm the guy to help you with that. We work together on these calls. So we'll take your work calls, income-related calls, money calls, relationship calls. Sure, George and I have both been married. George is about to be a dad. So
That's
now
right.
He's already ready to give parenting advice.
Are you hit 25 years?
25 years. Stacy and I celebrated 25 years.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Very exciting.
Congratulations.
Stacy has no judgment and tremendous patience. That's what that means.
She gets
there
it.
You go. All right, we've got, let's get to the call, shall we? Danielle is joining us now in Syracuse, New York. Danielle, how can we help?
We're just interested on your guys' thoughts of, investments while you're young when you have the extra cash to hope to have some more, passive income in the future, and kind of just interested if I'm making the right route.
Nice. Tell us about this extra cash. Give us a snapshot.
Well, I guess, I'm a fairly frugal spender, so I always spend less than what I have. But I have the debts of, a mortgage and then an investment property mortgage, but really strong full-time job and my husband, and trying to figure out, we've purchased we're in the process of purchasing our second additional home. And we've got, some long-term renters, but I'm, just with the way the market is these days, I'm wondering if it's, the rates are high, so people are, maybe less apt to purchase a house and more apt to pay the rent, but am I signing myself up for too much debt that I can't handle in, 15 years, or is it gonna, the extra $6,000 you get a year, is that really worth it?
Well, you're thinking through this the right way, and you've got a lot of wisdom coming at this. What's your household income?
About 180.
Fantastic. Okay, and then how much debt do you guys have?
So, this is including all the mortgages, correct?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look here. So probably around 25 in student loans, 1,000. 120 in one of the houses, and then it'd be 140 in the other house.
Okay.
And then 20 in one car payment in one car.
Okay. So far, this idea of passive income sounds great. It's just like, oh man, I'm getting this cash flow every month. I don't have to work if I don't want to. But right now, I feel stressed looking down at these numbers going, man, what if we could have some peace in our life where we didn't owe anyone anything? That's some serious cash flow. Anything we do own that is producing cash is 100% other than our expenses. And that's where I want to get you guys to. And what we lay out is called the baby steps. We tell you to pay off the consumer debt first, then attack the mortgages. So making $180K, if you just focused on just the consumer debt, the smallest debt first, you could knock that out really quickly, couldn't you?
Yep.
So within a few months, you could knock out the student loans, knock out the car payment, and then just have these mortgages to worry about, right?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
When you look at the interest rate of the student loans, because we've refinanced, then you look at the interest rate of the car, those are lower than what I'm paying for my house.
Okay.
So should I put them? That's where like I have the struggle. Like, do I put the loans where I'm accruing more interest? Because we make probably 3 principal payments a year on every house. Try to pay it down, but you say consumer first, but what about the interest?
Regardless of the interest rate, we found that it's more about behavior than knowledge when it comes to personal finance. 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge. And right now, you're staring at this big pile of debt. You're trying to invest. You're trying to do 17 things at once, and you're not going to make progress. But when you focus on that small debt, it gets knocked out quick when you ignore the interest rate, because this isn't about math. This is about actually gaining the traction, feeling the momentum, and sticking with it. And so you're right.
Okay.
On paper, you're going to go, I don't understand it, and I could make more in the market, so why even pay this down? But when it comes to life, we don't think in numbers. We think in feelings, and you sleep better at night when you don't owe anyone anything. So I would, if I'm in your shoes, just slow down. We'll get to real estate investing, but right now we're not going to buy any more property. We're going to focus on the consumer debt. Let's focus on paying down the mortgages we do have. And then for the future properties, I would be paying cash. That sounds insane because you're going, that could be 10 years from now. Yes. And for those 10 years, you're going to be sleeping real good with no payments in your life.
Understood.
So that's the route. Ken, I don't know if you have any other thoughts on this idea of passive income, and it sounds like you may not love what you do for work right now. I don't know. There's
it could be a lot going on there. I think just what you said is very helpful, and I'm always thinking of new listeners and viewers that are coming in and they're hearing this. And I love what you said, because if you make this about the numbers, this interest rate is lower here, and what happens is you get caught in this strategy. And you go, wait a second, I've got to pay over here to here, and there's no momentum. If we understand the baby steps the way that Dave set them up after years of counseling people, it's the momentum piece. And so that's why we don't say, pay the one with the highest interest rate. It's about the behavior, as you said, but really what comes as a result of the baby steps for new people, I want you to understand, it's momentum. And then momentum leads to lifestyle change. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think people need to understand that, because it's like, this is about, you could go different ways and number strategy. That's why we have people call up and try to argue with all the time. But we're not, it's about momentum, and we're saying no debt at all so that you have true peace. So when you look at it that way, it does change your perspective. So get out of the numbers.
One thing at a time. Focused intensity causes that momentum. Get out of debt first. Momentum. Then get an emergency fund. Then start investing.
That's right.
You can do all of these things, but trying to do them all at once is planning to fail.
That's right. And again, that's a great point. You're not getting as much momentum. Singular focus of each baby step leads to the best momentum as a result of the most results. Momentum is an attitude. It's a spirit. It's like, okay, I'm making progress. I want to keep going, and I develop a muscle for it. So there is a method to our madness, folks, and a lot of people think we're crazy mad, and maybe we are, but we have a whole lot more money and a whole lot more peace than you do. So this is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dr. John Deloney here. I'm a huge fan of both meditation and prayer. And good mental health includes slowing down, gaining control of your thoughts, and plugging into something bigger than you. And Hallow makes it easy to start a daily practice of meditation, prayer, and finding peace. Hallow is the #1 Bible app in the world, and you can tailor content towards your faith tradition. From scripture readings and prayers to meditation and journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice prayer, meditate, and build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life and rediscover true peace. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today to get 3 months of Hallow for free. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by my colleague George Camel, and we are here for you this hour. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. 888-825-5225. Taking your work questions and your money questions, and whatever else you want to ask today. We'll see how it goes. 888-825-5225. Let's go to Toronto, Canada.
Ooh.
Adam, you're excited about that?
I get excited about the Canadian callers. It's always a gamble.
Oh, eh? Okay, let's see what happens here. Adam, how can we help?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you well, sir.
I actually didn't think I would get through today, but I'm glad. I have a bit of a dilemma that I'm trying to get solved. So basically the situation here is I'm trying to get married in December, right? And I want to save to get married, but I also have $48,000 worth of debt. So I was thinking, I don't know if I should put getting married on pause and focus on clearing this debt first, or if I should just keep saving to get married and then deal with it after. I don't know. I'm kind of new to listening to you guys, so I don't know what advice you would give in that situation. I know you guys say, get that tunnel vision and focus on paying off debt, but
I got to ask,
I just wanted to know,
do you actually think that putting your wedding on pause is possible? What's the other person think about that option? Have you cleared that?
I mean, she's okay with it. She's okay with it. We're not trying to do anything too big.
Okay.
So
yeah, how much is the wedding going to cost?
We're planning to keep this small, so it shouldn't be too much. But I want to save a certain amount because I'm thinking about not just the wedding cost, but getting an apartment, furnishing the place, all these other expenses that I'm thinking about.
So what's the number?
The number that I have in mind is maybe everything total $40K.
Okay. Just for the wedding?
Not just for the wedding.
Plus all that other
maybe
stuff.
10 to get married and then getting us place.
Well, rent is going to be an expense. Do you not have rent right now?
As of right now, I live at home, so my expenses are very low. That's another thing too.
Are you working full time? Okay.
Yeah, I'm working full time. I just started working full time as a truck driver. Currently making about $84K a year.
Awesome.
So my expenses roughly aren't too crazy. So I'm able to save now. That's another thing too, because I know once I get married, my expenses are going to go up. So I don't know if I should just, while I don't have too much expenses, focus on paying off debt.
Hold on a second, Adam. How much is she? Is she going to work, and how much will she make, or how much does she make now?
As of right now, she's not working. She's finishing up nursing school, so it will just be my income.
How long before she's out of nursing school?
About a year.
Okay. So you will be the sole income provider for a period of time, even after you get married.
Yes.
Okay. If I'm in your shoes, I'm not going to put life on hold. I'm going to get married. I'm going to do a wedding on a budget that I can afford, and that might mean we do a $20,000 wedding, and we have family pitch in and her family pitch in. Have you talked about who's paying for this?
I mean, as of right now, I kind of put it in my head that I'd be paying for everything.
How come?
I kind of want to prepare financially that if it is just me that I'm ready. If I do get help, that would be great, but I kind of want to just...
Well, let's have the conversation. Let's get the families involved and say, hey, we want to have this wedding. Here's our budget. Are you guys able to contribute? Would you want to contribute? There's no pressure. But I don't think taking it on yourself is the move here.
Yeah, Adam, what's now in America, it is a tradition, certainly at least a first expectation, correct me if I'm wrong, George. It's been a long time since I got married, but that the wife's family fits the bill for that. Is that the same in Canada, Adam?
I mean, the thing is, I'm from Africa, so it's kind of a lot of cultural thing is kind of the man, and the man's family takes care of things,
Well, have you talked to your parents about this?
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm coming from a low-income single mom household, so
that's fine. So they can't contribute. I would still have a conversation with her family, because if this is on you, then I'm going to do a bare bones. Maybe we do a courthouse situation and do a big party later on.
George, I don't like the $20,000 suggestion.
No, I'm just trying to go. We need to find a compromise here. We can't spend $40,000 on a wedding.
If this okay,
no, I don't plan to.
All right, now listen, I'm going to throw this in here.
I'm most 5'10", something small.
Yeah,
well, that's what you're saying. This extra $30,000 is going to happen because of an apartment. I mean, an apartment, you need first month's deposit, last month's deposit, maybe some moving costs,
and then furnishing.
We don't need to go crazy with furniture right now.
Okay.
I mean, look, if it's me, I'm a little bit more I don't know if it's old school.
Ken is old school. You can say it.
Okay. So if the fiance is willing to postpone the wedding, I'm not saying that you put life on hold. I understand the advice George gave. So I don't disagree with you, George. But my take is I would be willing to push the wedding a little bit to save money. And I'd also be very willing to do a low-key wedding if she is. I just think that wedding prices have gotten out of control. And I don't mean to sound like the old fuddy-duddy, but I'm going to go with it. Okay?
Well, it's become more about...
It's a cultural pressure
It's become more about reputation.
Yeah, it's like, I got to have a nice car, so I'm going to drag around a $750 car payment. I got to look successful, so I'm going to go to school that I can't afford and get a degree I can't use. I don't know when we just don't, at some point, go, this is nonsense. And just as a dude, I'm going to put it out there. I remember we had a nice little wedding. It was lovely. It wasn't ridiculous. But I remember like how stressed out my wife was. And I remember the actual wedding day, George. And the ceremony was about 20 minutes long. And you get done and you walk down the aisle and everybody's smiling at you. And there's this moment where you're at the back of the church and it's just you. Like the wedding planner hasn't even caught up to you. And I remember going, that was like a whole bunch of hullabaloo.
A lot of fanfare.
A lot of fanfare. We could have just done a private ceremony. I get it. It's about the family. But when we're trying to get financially in a place of health, I don't know, George. I'd push the wedding a little bit. I'd scale way back. That's me.
Yeah, I mean, you make 84 grand, you live at home. I'm going to throw a few grand. I'm going to live on nothing and throw a few grand in a savings account every single month. And let's cash flow a small thing if that's what you guys want to do. Have the conversation with the bigger family, see who's able to contribute, do the wedding based on that budget, and then attack the debt as soon as you're married.
Okay.
But you got to have a conversation. Adam, all this opinion, you got to have a conversation with your fiance, the families.
You've talked more about this wedding with us than you have with the families, it
I
sounds
think
like.
that's true.
That's a problem. We're just two random dudes.
Yeah, you're right. I definitely have to sit down with them. And have
But don't
a
take
discussion.
this on yourself as this burden of like, well, I'm the man, so I got to take this on. Listen, they're gonna have opinions about who makes the invite list, and therefore they need to have some skin in the game too.
I appreciate the African culture, all the culture. I appreciate all of that. But man, if the Canadian in-laws would like to punch in some money, I would take it, pal. I would take it. You know, wouldn't you?
Definitely,
Absolutely.
right.
Hey, it's a
Yeah,
big
yeah.
expense.
Yeah,
So-
it's just the debt is kind of like, because I've kind of been listening to you guys for a couple months now, and now that I'm really taking in how much debt I really have, 48,000. It's really like,
What kind of debt is it?
you know, I really. I have a list here. You want me to go through it?
How much? Yeah, just
Very
rattle off the
quickly.
categories.
Okay. So 25,000 of it is a car note.
Okay.
I'd say 5,000 is one credit card. Another 5,000 is a Best Buy loan. 4,000 of it is student loans. 3,000 of it is my truck school loan. 2,500 is another credit card. $1,000 is like a personal someone that gave me a loan. Another 1,000 is credit card.
Oof. Man, I would
goodness.
if I'm in your shoes personally, I might just sell the car if you want to pay for this wedding and be done with it and get something cheaper.
I know I've heard you guys recommend that, and it's kind of something I've been thinking about. As
It's
well.
not out of control for your income, so if you want to pay it off
Yeah.
aggressively and keep it, that's fine. But with where you're at and you're feeling the pinch right now, you can always get a
Yeah.
nice car later.
Yeah.
So that would be the other option you have on the table to at least clear some of this debt fast.
I'd do a picnic-style wedding with solo cups. That's what I would do.
You don't have to invite Ken.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not coming anyway.
Toronto
I
sounds
don't
nice
like
this coming.
weddings.
It's time-
I don't
Toronto
wanna-
in December. That's going to be a brisk one, Ken.
Yeah. I don't want to go to anybody's wedding. Anybody. I just, women love them.
He's done with it.
I'm done. Do
He's
it
too
once.
old.
That's it. I don't want to do it. Hey, don't move. He's George Campbell. I'm Ken Coleman. This is The Ramsey Show. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget.
Welcome back, America. You have joined the conversation about your life, your money, your work, your relationships here on The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by George Camel. The phone number to jump in is 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Time for our question of the day, brought to you by Neighborly, your hub for home services. If you're moving, you have a long list of to-dos, but Neighborly has local pros like Housemaster, 5-Star Painting, and Junk King to check items off that list. Visit neighborly.com today to schedule home service experts near you.
Today's question comes from Julia in New Mexico. I've been hearing reports of the dollar potentially losing value, which would affect 401k investments, etc. Hearing recommendations on diversifying into gold and silver. I've heard in the past you do not recommend this based on past performance of the metals. Do you still recommend the 401k and stock market investments over the physical gold in this current economy?
What say you, George?
Yes. Short answer. Longer answer, yes. I'll add some flavor to it, and Ken can chime in. I actually did a video about this on my YouTube channel.
Oh, you did?
And I didn't know this existed.
Nice plug, George.
There's gold trolls out there, Ken. They love to jump in the comments of these videos and be like, it's all coming down.
Because they know weak-minded folks like you will read them.
That's right.
Don't jump in the comments.
Well,
I tell you this all the time.
Listen, I didn't respond to them. I just say I saw them.
Yeah, but see, that's garbage in. You see what I mean? Garbage out. These people are not healthy.
Everybody deserves to be seen, known, and loved. Ken.
I disagree.
Regardless
I disagree.
of their trolling.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing with gold is you can look at the past performance, and I compare it to that of the stock market, and the returns are not great, kind of abysmal. You would have been way better off investing in mutual funds in the stock market over a long period of time. Now, what this is actually getting at is the fear and paranoia that, hey, if it all comes crashing down, gold will be our last, symbol of hope.
I got news for you. If it comes crashing down...
You're not going to want to trade my gold?
You're not walking around talking about how much gold you have. Haven't you seen one of those bad Western movies?
I've seen I Am Legend.
Right.
You're going to be going, hey, does anyone have food, water, bullets, fuel?
Yeah, exactly.
Ammo? That's the kind of stuff people will actually need.
Fan.
So the idea that every single company in America is going to go bankrupt, because that's what you're saying. If you're saying the stock market's going to go to zero, I'm going to lose it all, or the dollar's going to get so far devalued that my retirement account will be worth nothing, then you need to turn off the news.
That's true. And get yourself a bunker.
Yes. That's where these people are heading. And I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's realistic. And truthfully, if the whole thing's come crashing down, just take me. Let the good Lord just take me when I don't want to survive in this post-apocalyptic
I'm with
world.
you. I'm going to the beach. I'm going to build myself a shanty, and
I'll join you there.
Live off the land.
Yeah,
So,
and we found also that actual wealthy people, they don't hoard gold. They may have a little bit of precious metals, but I mean, Dave
Ramsey
Ramsey
gold
himself,
they have is on their wrist.
Dave's wearing his watch, maybe a gold chain.
Yeah, he's a chain guy.
He's a chain guy.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that. He likes the gold chain. It's always there. I've seen it.
So yeah, I would avoid this. The other problem with gold is resale as well.
Yeah.
If you buy the gold for a certain price, you're not going to be able to necessarily sell it for that or more. Soon after.
Yeah.
So I'm sticking to mutual funds in companies that have a good track record that will grow.
I like it.
Versus a fear-based investment like gold.
I love it. Good stuff. Let's go to Savannah now, who joins us in Phoenix, Arizona. Savannah, how can we help?
Hello, yes. My husband and I don't have any debt. We have $17,000 in cash, and we are at the beginning of step 3. However, we need a truck. I'm just wondering if
Why do you need a truck?
Spend all of this. Yes, a truck.
Why? Why a truck? I'm just curious.
For my husband's business.
Okay.
Yeah. We need. So I'm wondering, how do we know how much we can afford for the truck? Do we spend all of the $17K on the truck and then start with step 3 after?
What kind of truck are we talking about? Because trucks are really expensive. And they hold their value. They're overpriced, in my opinion, right now. So what are you talking about?
Well, ideally, we would want to find a truck and just pay it all in cash. My husband has other plans. He wants a Ford F-150, and the prices he's looking at are in the 30s.
What kind of business does he have?
It's taxidermy.
Okay.
Why does he need an F-150 with all the bells and whistles for taxidermy?
Right, he doesn't. He just needs a truck with a bed.
Exactly.
There's a lot of those.
$30,000. I mean, I listen. I could get on right now on this little computer here and find you trucks that'll get him from A to B, and he can throw some dead animals in there or whatever it is that he does.
The idea of just hauling dead animals and then getting a really nice vehicle to do that in is kind of hilarious to me.
Right.
Agreed.
So, you guys are out of debt. I wish he was on the phone with us right now because you guys are out of debt. You're the beginning of baby step 3. You're so close that you don't want to just go blow it on a really fancy schmancy truck that he quite frankly doesn't need. But if he puts it off and he gets a basic truck, let's say something in the $10,000, $12,000 range. By the way, I just bought a fabulous Ford Explorer for my son.
Oh, nice.
And it has 90,000 miles on it, 12 grand, fantastic condition. Bought it from a lady that's in her late 60s. It can be done, folks. It can be done. Yeah. He could get an SUV. Here's the point. He can get the nice truck later. You guys are so close. Don't go backwards right now by using all this cash on that truck. Am I right, George?
Yeah, this money needs to be earmarked for your emergency fund, and then we'll begin saving up for this truck. So how soon does he need this truck?
He needs it by September 1st.
What happens on September 1st?
That's when all the hunts begin, and he needs to start picking up all the dead animals.
All right, I got a question. This is fascinating. I have ADHD, so full confession to everybody. Why can't they drop the animals off to him? They're the ones. I mean, listen, my dad had 2 deer heads hanging in our house, when I was a kid, and I think he took the deer to the taxidermist. Why does he have to go pick them up?
Right. So his business is based up in the White Mountains, kind of close to Sholo, Arizona, and we're living near Phoenix. So it's the traveling time to pick up the mounts where he has them dropped off at, and then bring them down to where we're at.
Okay. Well, I'll give you the parameters because I actually want to answer your question after we razzed you for the truck. So when it comes to buying a depreciating asset, a car, you want to make sure that everything with motors and wheels in it in your life is no more than half of your annual income. So what is your annual income?
Oof. Okay. So I bring in $40K. However, I'm just on maternity leave with a 3-week-old, so it's going to be a little bit less this year.
Okay.
And then with his business, I would say he just started this business last fall. So, and I think he's making $15K with that, and then he'll pick up and sell insurance at in the winter time, and his base pay will be $15 an hour.
Okay. So that's about $30K a year there. But he's only doing it part-time. I wonder if he needs to work full-time and do this on the side for now until he gets this thing kicked up. Because right now, it's going to be tough times for you guys on top of trying to save up to buy this truck. But I will tell you, based on what you just told me, I'd get the cheapest truck possible. And I'm looking online right now, actual reality.
Yeah, me too.
And you can get, early 2000 Ford F-150s for $6 grand, $8 grand, even a 2010 for $9 grand. That would be the ballpark you're looking at here for a work truck to haul dead animals. So if he's getting all starry-eyed because he went to the dealership, he needs to slowly back away and keep his wallet tight where I can see it.
Oh, I like that, George.
Because he's about to make a real dumb decision buying a shiny, brand new truck when he has a startup business that it may not even make enough to feed his family while you're on maternity leave. So do not use the emergency fund for this. It is not an emergency. I don't care what he says. Scrounge up the $8 or $9 grand and get a used Ford F-150 or whatever truck, but please don't upgrade until he's got this business running and moving and you guys are making really good money.
Really good stuff. I love this. Just pulling up the used trucks for sale.
Well,
in
reality
Phoenix.
helps because people go, you can't find trucks under 28 grand.
There's
Yes,
all
you can.
kinds of trucks.
It's not the truck you want. And guess what? Trucks still run 20 years later. It's amazing how that works.
Here's a Toyota Tundra, 182,000 miles. You know how long that'll run? It'll
Love
run
a
for
Tundra.
700,000 miles, I'm told.
It will outlast me.
You know, you and I, we'd never look good driving a truck.
I take offense to that.
Do
Yeah.
I
me
don't
in a
think so.
Tundra.
I don't know. We'll see.
America needs to see it.
All right. More of your calls coming up next. This is The Ramsey Show. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. George Campbell joins me this hour. 888-825-5225 is the number. If you want to jump in on the conversation, we'll take your questions about money, your work situation, which affects your money, relationships that affect money, and beyond. 888-825-5225. Adrian's up next in, am I reading this right? Slatina, Romania? I don't know if I said that right, but we'll see. Adrian, how can we help?
Yeah, that was about right. I have, I'm 24. Me and my wife, we both graduated university, and I've been working at the same time for about 6 or 7 years as a user interface designer. I'm making around $40,000 a year. Currently living in Romania, born and raised. We're building our house. Cash only. We don't have any debt. We're doing that just from what I'm working because my wife is babysitting at the moment. We have a 1-year-old. And I was just wondering, how can I, keep up with working, providing for my family, and keeping my dream alive, which my dream is to do as much music as I can, because I'm a musician at core. I've been raised with music, and I love and enjoy music in general.
Are you a musician only, or do you sing as well? So are you playing an instrument? What is it?
Yeah, I'm playing the piano, I'm singing, and I'm also composing.
Wow. And so let's let out the whole dream. 15, 20, 30 years from now, if you could snap your fingers and make it so, what would that look like?
I would really love to have as much meaningful music as possible into the world so people can enjoy it and can take comfort in it.
So you've got albums out?
Yeah, walk us. Do you want to be an artist? Do you want to be touring? Do you want to compose for film? Be a little more specific.
Yeah, actually, the dream is I have a classical background in music, and I'm doing all sorts of composition, waltzes, and classical music, basically.
Okay, great. Have you gotten anything out so far? Have you put anything out, whether it be on your own website? Have you gotten any contracts where you've written music for organizations or musical theater or anything like that?
Yeah, I've actually recorded a single that's called Yesterday, and it's out on all streaming platforms.
Sure. And how old are you again?
24.
24. Okay, so the question is, I got to take care of my family, and I want to keep this dream alive. And I love that. I actually have, I know what that's like. When I started into broadcasting, Adrian, I was 33, 3 little ones, running my own company, a very small business, and I had the exact same situation. So you're going to have to treat your music like I treated my broadcasting. I was getting basic experience, getting knowledge, So I was taking some training courses. I took a few broadcasting classes on the side. I was running my business and working really hard to make sure that I was using my time wisely so that I had more time to go, again, audition at times. I had to audition. I was doing radio on Saturdays, and so you just a little bit at a time, but you never stop. And so the main thing is the main thing, taking care of your family, and you've got it. You're doing it. I would guess even in Romania with this technology job that you have the opportunity to climb the ladder financially. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. I'm in the top 2%.
Okay, so you want to keep climbing and keep taking care of the family, but keep producing music. And I would just challenge you to show your work. Try to get yourself, not just put out your own music, but can you sign up, can you get some clients where maybe you're scoring some music for local theaters, national stuff? How can I get my work? I just ran into an old buddy, George, by the name of Jim, won't say his last name, and hadn't seen him in years. And he has been scoring music for the Nashville Symphony. He does a lot of stuff all around the country, working from his home, scoring music, much like Adrian does. So Adrian, I want you to expand into trying to work more for other people, because that's doing two things. You are doing the thing that you love, but you're getting paid for it. And then that allows you to stack up money so that long term, you're going to have a lot more freedom to actually put more of your own stuff out. That's what I would tell you on the work side. George, you want to add anything to that financially?
Yeah, well, as a former musician, I still am a musician, but I was kind of doing what you were doing. I put some albums out there. I was doing live gigs, and it's still a love of mine. It's not something I wanted to pursue full time, but for you, I would say with the advent of the internet, on top of what Ken said, which is, get connected to people who are actually in the craft, getting paid to do it, and go to the places it's happening, the orchestras, wherever that is. But also, with the internet now, you can jump on to some amazing forums on, maybe there's a Reddit community, a Twitter community for this, start a TikTok account, an Instagram account, and start uploading videos of you playing and composing and breaking it down for people, show them behind the scenes. And you never know, you start to build an audience over there, and opportunities will start to happen for you. But you have to put yourself out there even more. You can't just upload a song to Spotify and go, well, didn't happen. You got to continue and persist for years. Yeah. And I wish you the best.
Yeah, thank you for the call. Great dream. I love it. You got it. You're on your way, Adrian. Just don't quit. Best advice I could ever give someone who's got that kind of a dream. Let's go to Josh now in Lafayette, Louisiana. Josh, how can we help?
Hey, gentlemen. It's good to be on with you. Thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
So my current situation is my family has $30,000 in debt, student loan and a van loan. As it stands right now, I'm a maintenance supervisor at a retirement facility, and I make $50,000 per year, and I'm not getting anywhere ahead. And I've been mulling over different ideas of how to increase my income. And I was just, I have some thoughts, but I was hoping to get your guys' insight on, avenues I could consider taking.
How handy are you? I'm guessing you're fairly handy based on your job title?
Yes. Yeah.
If it were me and I were you, and I'm the least handy guy you've ever met in your life, okay, I can barely use a screwdriver or a hammer, that's dangerous. But I would be looking for handyman jobs, odd jobs, stuff that you can do on the side, keep your main gig. But because, people need stuff fixed all the time, there's a premium there, man.
I just paid a sizable amount of money, Ken, for a handyman that was at my house for the last couple days.
Right.
And let me tell you, Josh, you could double your income.
That's exactly right.
Because these handymen, they're not charging $20 an hour.
No.
They're charging $50, $60, even $90 an hour.
Right.
To do basic things.
Yeah. Josh, so that means you could find another facility that may not be able to pay you full time, but maybe they pay you half, and you come and fix their stuff at night and weekends.
And you live in a neighborhood, I assume, right?
Yes, I do.
If you've got a Facebook group or you leave little hangers on the door and you say, hey, I live in the neighborhood, I do handyman work.
Yeah.
Here's my rate. Would love to help. You do one good job, and the neighbors are all telling you got to hire Josh.
That's
oh my gosh, he's the best.
Right.
He was professional. He showed up on time, and you can charge easily $50, $60 an hour.
Can I ask you guys a question on something else I'd been considering?
Real quick, we got about a minute and a half.
Yeah, sure. I was also thinking, I had considered getting an LLC and opening up handyman work on the side. I had considered getting a real estate license. I figured that'd be a good way to get some additional work, moonlighting after work, and then also maybe market myself as a handyman. Is that even a practical thought?
I think it's going to take a lot of time and money, and unless it's something you're really passionate about, I wouldn't do it as easy money, because real estate is nothing but getting started.
But if that's something you really want to do long term, then you would want to make that transition. But I've talked to a lot of great real estate pros and coaches of real estate pros. At some point, you got to go all in on that for that to work. I like you stacking cash, doing what you already do very, very well,
without having to pay for more schooling and licensing.
Yeah, you're not paying anything. You're just counting your money, baby, and getting ahead. We're really proud of you, Josh. You were on your way, sir. Hang up the phone. Start calling people. Hey, George Campbell, good hour. James Childs, our fearless leader. Thank you, sir, and the team behind the glass. Thank you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Ken. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio. This is The Ramsey Show, where we help you win in your life, specifically your money, your work, and your relationships. 888-825-5225 is the phone number, 888-825-5225. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by the incomparable, the inimitable, George Campbell.
The insufferable, some might say.
The insufferable, some would say. But I think he's pretty fantastic, and we have a lot of fun together, and we're here to help you. Let's go. Megan is up in the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois. Megan, how can we help?
Hi. I have been with my current company for just under 7 years and was recently approached by a leader within my department to apply for a position that they have with their team. And so I'm just looking for advice. I love my current team, my leader, the work that I do. I'm a little bit apprehensive to apply for this new position. However, it would come with a salary increase. And my family and I are in baby step 2. So I'm just wondering, do I listen to my gut, my husband, both of which are usually correct, or do I seek out this opportunity that would come with a little bit of a pay bump in order to pay down that debt faster?
All right, I want to get the facts, and George and I will weigh in on this, but based on what I hear, you should always trust your gut. And the husband agrees with the gut. That is 2 for 2 there. But let's look at this. And because you also said a little bit of a pay bump, which tells me it's the ROI on this of changing, and everything that goes with changing is probably not worth it. But what are you making now, and what would you make if you took this promotion?
Sure. So currently I make 86, and I think that I could get close to about 100K. But our household currently is at 148K combined.
Okay. All right. So we're talking about $14,000 before taxes.
Yes.
Okay.
And our current debt is 135K, so that changes it a little bit.
That's all consumer debt?
Yes, student loan, a credit card, 2 vehicles.
Yeah. What are your concerns about this promotion? In other words, lay out for us the reasons as to why you're apprehensive and you don't feel like it's a good fit.
Sure. So the hiring manager, I was actually up against them for a different promotion day one out. They were the better fit. So this new position that I would be applying for would be reporting to them. So they're a new leader, and I'm just not sure how their leadership style will be, whereas my current leader is incredible. There's a lot of flexibility, autonomy, wonderful work-life balance, having small children at home. So I guess it's just the fear of jumping into the unknown when I have a sweet deal right now.
Yeah, but I also think you know enough, and I'm just curious. The only other thing I want to know is, do you know enough about the position to compare it to what you're currently doing? And you can clearly see, forget the new leader and all the good things I have with my current leader. am better at this other work that I'm in now. I enjoy the work now. Is that clear to you?
It is. I enjoy the work that I do now more.
It's a
but
no-brainer.
I think that this new role would just open up my skill set a little bit.
Okay, so I want George to step in here because he's the money numbers guy. But you take $14,000. It looks really good when you look at it that way, but it's not going to be $14,000. So you're talking about making a change with all of the unknowns about the leader and all of the knowns about your current leader, your current flexibility. You love the current job. It's not worth it because after tax, it's not going to be that much. And you and your husband would be better off selling stuff, making side hustle money to come up with that extra 14. But let's just say you were to step into this and take it, go against your gut, what your husband knows, and you end up stepping into this and you don't enjoy it. Think about how much time, how much time you're spending in a role that's not a good fit for you from a flexibility standpoint with the kiddos to the relationship with the new boss. I mean, it's not worth it. It's not that big of a payoff. If it were $100,000 and I knew you could step back into the old position a year later, maybe. But this is an absolute big blinking neon no. Stay put. George?
Yeah, I'm with Ken, and I'll make the caveat that looking at these numbers, I'm scared. I mean, $135,000 is a whole lot of debt comparatively to your income, and you have a great income. Are the cars really nice, or is this all student loans?
It's predominantly student loans. The vehicles are fine, but yeah, I would say it's student loans, both of which are mine.
Okay. If you're going to keep this current role, I would go get a second job. I'd be willing to sell one of the cars, maybe both, and get something cheaper because I want this debt gone in 18 months. And if you can't do that, then we need to find out another way to make that happen right now. Because that means you're throwing, in 2 years, that means you're throwing $70,000 at this debt a year. Could you guys do that currently with your budget?
I think so, yes.
All right. Well,
are you doing a monthly budget right now? Because you're talking throwing $6,000 a month at this debt.
I think that we could if we went scorched earth.
Now, let me say this because George just brought up a good point. Megan, instead of us talking about you changing jobs, how about we change cars? That's a whole lot less traumatic. Do you have some equity in those cars?
Yes.
Megan, if it were me, and George is right, that number scares me. I wouldn't be able to sleep well. I'd start selling cars, and that changes the timeline. And you still have flexibility, great job with the kiddos. I'm telling you, I would sell the cars. I really would. Wouldn't you, George?
Yeah, I mean, depending on what the cars are worth and what you could get for them, and you're downgrading. But I think there needs to be some level of sacrifice here, and if it has to happen in the cars, let's do that. But we need some behavior change because what got us into this was some behavior. Credit cards, getting nice cars we couldn't afford, all of that. And it sounds like you've made a change. I don't know what your why was, what that trigger point was for you, but you're ready to do something about it. But you're unwilling to take the promotion, so we need to find another place to sacrifice. Because this would have been great. It would have added another, probably $900 a month to throw at the debt. So we need to figure out a way to create that margin if it's not going to be from a promotion.
What are you thinking, Megan? We've hit you with a lot.
You know what? It's exactly what I needed to hear. You're just holding up a mirror for me. So thank you both.
All right.
That's what we're here for.
You're awesome. I love your spirit. If you guys can do the car thing, it's only short term. And just think about the scorched earth. That's part of scorched earth strategy right there. You get out of this thing a lot faster. You guys are making really good money. And then we replace the cars. So, now's the time to do this when the kids are little. You know what I mean? Like, this is the time to do that. They don't care what the car looks like.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Thank you.
You bet. So
we did what we could. We held up the mirror and went, here's what's going on. So there's a lot of options here. The only option is we can't keep staying the same. So if we're going to turn down the extra $14,000, we've got to figure out how we're going to get rid of $135,000 in debt.
Well, but I want to be very clear. Well, she's not turning down 14. That's not real dollars. And to change your life in a potentially negative way in the workplace where you're spending all that time, there wasn't enough ROI on that for me. I want to make sure she's not turning down 14. That's
I'm
not
the
what it
numbers
really
guy.
is.
I have to pitch it that way.
No, but you understand
to
why
get her
though?
to see it from a different perspective.
It's not worth it. She'd be better off getting a second job.
Yeah, I don't want to call
that
back
she can
saying,
get
I'm
rid of.
miserable with my career, Ken. Help.
That's
I took a
exactly.
promotion I shouldn't have taken.
Yeah,
we don't want that.
life's too short to be miserable. Not fun. Let's get after it. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 45% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by George Campbell. And we are coming to you from our Nashville, Tennessee area base world headquarters. I bring this up because George and I both live in a suburb of Nashville called Franklin, Tennessee. And boy, everybody's talking about this. And James, this is funny that you bring this in there. Our fearless producer brings this into us, this story.
He's so brave.
Did I say he was brave?
He said fearless.
It's an empty compliment. It's just, what else am I going to say? You know what I mean? I'm trying to say
I didn't mean to
something.
derail you, Ken. I was just adding some color commentary.
I love it. So, James, my wife tells me about this last night, and then you bring it in, and this is the headline here in my hands. Franklin, Tennessee Kroger converts to entirely self-checkout.
We live in the future.
No grocery clerks. Is that what you call them, by the way? Do we still call them clerks? Do you even know what a clerk is?
I think it ages you to say clerk.
Oh, there it is. See, there it is. You taking a shot at my age again.
Well, I don't think the 16-year-old at Publix is like, I'm a clerk.
That's why I asked the question.
You know?
You don't have to be snippy about it. Just a yes or no suffices.
Clerk went the way of the stewardess.
There we go.
Thank you, James.
We're done with it.
Oh, so we don't say clerk and we don't say stewardess, apparently. It makes me want to say it all the more. Anyway, a Kroger in Middle Tennessee, right here in this area. This is in the Cool Springs area. It's kind of the business district of our town. And so this is a corporate affairs manager for Kroger's National Division, Lauren Bell. She's quoted as saying, "These allow our customers to scan and bag their own items. It's a fast, friendly experience." They're talking about it like it's a new invention. I've been doing this for years.
Before it was cool.
Yeah, the story is that that's all there is the self-checkout. Now, do you self-checkout?
If I have, I'd say under 10 or 15 items, I'll do it.
Oh, so there's a point where you say,
Yeah.
that's too much for me.
Or if I have like 19 different things of LaCroix, it's just a lot to carry. I'd rather have them come out and scan it and make it easier on me.
Okay.
Or if it's a lot to bag. I'm not a big fan of bagging. And if there's a bagger at the end, I love that. They're my favorite people.
I like where you went there. So really it's about the bagger.
It's about the bagging experience for me.
Okay. For those who are not fond of the experience of self-checkout, staff will still be available in the store for customers who don't want to or are unable to scan their items. So this is where I go, why is this a news story? Why are we talking about it? They said it was going to be all automated, all self-checkout. But then if you really don't like it, we'll call Barney from the back and he'll check you out. So see, I don't understand.
You know what I will say? If I have
this kind of stuff bothers
if
me.
I have fruits or vegetables, I'm out. I don't want to be looking for a tiny little code and going through their little iPad on the screen trying to figure it out.
Yeah. All right.
But they say it's not going to happen at all locations. And the reason, the tie-in to this show
what's the
is
tie-in?
We talk a lot about career and work and how technology is changing things, and people get spooked going like, Ken, what does this mean for my job?
Yeah.
And they stated at the bottom there that no one is being eliminated. So no one's getting fired in lieu
Well,
of
you know
robots.
why no one's getting eliminated? Because of all the cranky people like you that'll go, I don't want to scan my banana. I want you to do it. And so they're going to bring somebody from the back to take care of your fruit.
Thank you. Or if you get, wine or something like that requires ID, Ken, you've been there.
I get it. I don't understand. Like either go all self-checkout and we lay people off and give them a better job somewhere else. I don't understand.
I need to take it back, Ken, because I just looked up Kroger jobs. They're called grocery clerks.
Still?
Yes. They do a
Thank
cashier.
you. It comes full circle.
Grocery bagger, general merchandise clerk. So clerk is still used.
What would you want to be called, a bagger or a clerk?
Yeah.
See, I make the point.
He makes a fair point.
All right, so will AI, in all seriousness, will AI eliminate and reduce the need for a certain amount of humans? No question. But remember this. If you look back over the last 50 years, you sat there and thought for a second, technology and how it's come into the world, it's always spit off new jobs. So if you are in certain types of positions, clerical roles, administrative roles, gathering information, those kind of jobs will be eliminated because AI can take care of that. But you take this right here, this very story to me is a bit absurd, and it points out the absurdity of fear over AI. They've got self-checkout. They say the whole store is self-checkout. But if you really don't want to do it, we're going to get somebody else to come
it's still
out
like
of the
an
back.
Apple store in there. Everyone's just hanging out waiting for something to go wrong.
Yeah. Well, I did it the other day, and we had a problem with one of my coffee creamers. It wouldn't scan.
Wow.
And I would normally get frustrated with that. And I look over, nice young man, zips over, boop, 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 boop. Couple things on the screen. And
I always just feel like
out of
I'm
there.
a nuisance. I'm at Costco or something. The red light goes off. It didn't weigh it properly.
Well, that's because
alarms
you're
are going
so
off.
neurotic. To me, I don't care.
It's exhausting. So I try to do self-checkout when I don't want to deal with people. But Trader Joe's, for example, doesn't have self-checkout. It's all people, and they're the nicest people you could ask for.
Now see, this is a very good point. If you gave me the option to do self-checkout, or I get someone to take care of me every time, I'm going to take the human touch. There's no question about it.
You love people. Some
do
people want to avoid people.
Yeah. I like being taken care of. So do you. That's
Pampered.
your issue. You like being pampered.
Well, Ken's
That's the
looking for
issue.
the compliment from the cashier.
I am?
No. But they always got one, especially if there's a tip involved.
I'm not tipping the cashier clerk.
But if you're at the ice cream shop and they go, "Oh, I like your shirt. You a big golfer?" All of a sudden, Kenny Boy's hitting that 20%.
Not true. My response is, yes, I attempt to play. I'm not very good, but I enjoy the clothing. Thank you very much. What do I owe you? I'm not tipping the ice cream or the coffee people. I'm not doing it, George.
Well, now self-checkout is asking for a tip. So that's where I draw the line.
What do you mean self-checkout is asking for a tip?
Self-checkout screens are now starting to ask for tips.
Who am I tipping? Myself?
Yes, but
Is
it
it
doesn't
cash
go to
back?
you. Great job, Ken. We're going to give this money to someone who actually needs it.
The tip thing's gone. It's out of control, folks. Listen,
Neither here nor there.
Americans need to unite. The people in the lobby are shaking their hands. It's time for Americans to unite, arm in arm, and stop tipping anybody other than a waiter or waitress. Can we say that?
Coleman for Congress, 2024.
Or the delivery person. Sorry, we're going to get hate mail over that one. Got to get the delivery people in there. Who else am I missing, George?
That covers it.
Who is it okay to tip? That's it. Yes?
My barber. Service-based work.
I do have to tip the barber, but
Yeah.
that's because I get a shampoo and a condition plus the cut.
Oh, we're off the rails.
I know. All right. Let's go to Stephanie in Austin, Texas. Stephanie, how can we help?
Well, stop. Not self-checkout.
What? Oh, say that again. You got an opinion on this? What? You broke up.
Yeah, I'm team not self-checkout. I want someone to check me out every time.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. That is your right as an American, and I appreciate you voicing it. How can we help today?
So I am calling because we got into the baby steps, and we're pretty far along, a little backwards, but we're here. And the only debt that we have left is on our primary residence and an investment property that we have. So it's substantial, but it is our house and our renter property. And we feel a little frozen as to where we should focus our dollars now that we're kind of moving into this world. And so I'm just hoping you can enlighten me a little bit with what we have in our income. Do we pour it all into knocking out the investment property, which we might be selling, by the way, so it might take care of itself? Or do we pour it all into paying down our primary dwelling?
What's on the primary? What's on the investment?
$613K is what is owed on the primary, and the investment property is $84K. That's owed. And
Please
that's
tell me you have an
by a
amazing
renter.
income.
I don't know what translates to amazing, but it's $200K a year myself alone.
Okay.
My husband's probably $150K a year.
Yeah,
That's what I was hoping for. I was like, that is a big fat mortgage, and you guys have an amazing income. Okay, so we're up against the clock. I would pay off the investment property first, set a goal for that, then start attacking primary, and just set a goal. I want it done in less than 15 years. I think you guys could do it in probably closer to 5 to 10. Get all of this knocked out. So it doesn't need to be every single extra dollar, but set an aggressive goal and then try to beat that goal and still live your life while you're at it. We move from intense to intentional in baby steps 4 and on, and you guys are there. You're crushing it.
And she said they may sell that investment property, and so if they decide to do that, throw it on the main
You got a
house.
forced savings plan at that point, so I'd still knock it out.
Fantastic. All right. Well done. Thank you, Stephanie, for the call. All right, George and I are going to take a break. We'll continue to argue in the commercial about self-checkout versus the clerk. We'll see what we come up with. Don't move. This is The Ramsey Show.
It's a competitive home buying market, but there's a way you can get an edge. Churchill Mortgage works with you to understand your budget and your goals. And the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge offers you fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus, Churchill has bumped up their seller guarantee to $10,000, giving your offer the best chance of being accepted and helping you win in today's market. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by George Camel. We are here for you this hour. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Taking your money calls, your calls related to your work. In other words, your income. I'm here to help you with that as well. 888-825-5225. Let's go to Connor now, who joins us in Dallas, Texas. Connor, how can we help?
Hey, Ken, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. What's going on?
Oh, nothing. I just had a quick question for you.
Okay.
I'm kind of at a point in my career where I have a few doors that are open to me. I work for a really good company now, and because of that, they are big about developing their people. And I'm just kind of wondering how you know which road to pick when you have a few different options. And I feel like I have skills that could help me go down any of the roads.
Okay. I love this question. All right. So I'll reframe this. So when someone has multiple professional opportunities, how do we weigh those and make the choice? That's what you're asking.
Yes.
So the first thing I'm going to look at is long term. Okay. I'm always going to look at long term first. Mm-hmm. Because most people make professional decisions based on the short term. In other words, they look at, well, I'm going to get a pay bump of X percent or a certain amount of money, and I'm going to get a nice title, and that feels really good. I'm wanted, I'm valued, and so we think, oh, well, that's a no-brainer. And we will step into positions many times that aren't a good fit for us in the short term, and even worse, don't position us for the long term. Okay. So that's why I like to look at the long term. So let's say you've got, well, let's be very, very realistic in your situation. How many opportunities do you have in front of you? Potential jobs at this
3.
company. So you've got 3. So I'm going to look at the 3 and I'm going to go, okay, which one of these 3 best positions me for the long term or where I want to be long term? Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Is that clear to you of the 3? Which one? Let's call them one. Let's call them A, B, and C. Which one is the best long-term positioning for you to get where you want to go?
Like you want the actual position?
No, just tell me of the 3. Call them A, B, and C. Let's call this one A. A is so. Which one is it? Describe that to me. Position A is the one that is the best long-term. What is that?
I think that is going to be more of a finance-related role, and I think it does position me best to use the education I have now and the skill set I have.
Okay, but what do you want to do long term in the finance space?
I'd like to get into more of a managerial role down the road. I have some good mentors now.
Great.
And I think that is probably the area where I would best get that chance. The other side is more of a it's a better job for now, but I don't think there is really a leadership role down that corridor.
Okay, that's a perfect example of what I'm looking for. I want to look at long term, and then I'm going to look at, is this of the best fit for me?
Mm-hmm.
And in the short term, meaning, I can get in here and I know I can at least do the job. I may not love it, but I've got enough talent to do it, and it's positioning for the long term. It feels like you know the one. Is that correct? Is there a clear winner?
Yeah, well, the reason I'm calling is because there is quite a big pay disparity between the 2.
Meaning going backwards?
No, both of them, if I went down option A, I would make slightly more than I make now. But option B, even though I think the long term where I want to go might be a little different, I think the earnings opportunity is considerably better.
How much better?
Like 40% better, 40% better.
Okay. How long do you see yourself, if we took both positions, how long before you would think that you'd have a chance to move up? And because at some point, if we take the one with more money now, you would have to, sounds like, pivot or move left or right, not just keep going up. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
How long? What would be the length of time in the position that pays more?
Well, in the position, I think I could do that job for 4 to 5 years before I would kind of age out of that, and they would want me to go a different direction.
What about the other one that it's a less of a pay bump, but it's the better long-term positioning? How long would you stay in that before you felt like you would be moving to the next rung?
I think that would be like 2 to 3 years because that department is smaller, and I think the opportunity for growth there will be larger.
And would the money catch up after that if you move on in 2 to 3 years?
I think even if I moved up in that role, it would get me closer to that job.
But still not the same.
It'll always be less. So I guess it's just a priority thing, huh?
Well, you're talking to a guy who named a book From Paycheck to Purpose, because I've just talked to too many people that'll take a job for a paycheck and it wears off.
Okay.
George, you know this. There's something about us humans. It doesn't take us long to adapt to more money. And once the high of the money wears off, now you're stuck with, do I enjoy this? Is this something I want to do long term? And that's my concern, Connor, is that you take the 40% bump, but it doesn't put you in position to get where you ultimately want to go. And you'll end up regretting and resenting that position.
Okay.
Is this the company long term? Because you're telling me the kind of role you want to be in leadership, but do we know for sure, hey, I'd be here forever?
Yeah.
If the opportunity was there.
I have really good bosses. I have really good people around me, and it's the industry I want to be in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in the right place.
How much do you want that leadership position? How much?
I've never been in it, so I'm not sure at this point. I just feel like it's the natural step, right? And when you're progressing in your career.
Dig into that, though. Go hang out with some leaders that are in that type of management role in this company, have lunch with them, coffee, and find out. You think you want it. You don't know that you want it. And George, that concerns me. And Connor, go find out. You can hang out with leaders in those type of positions enough to get an idea. Would I really enjoy doing that all day long? That's a key. You got to make sure you check that out. Sometimes we think it would be a natural progression, And a natural progression doesn't mean that it's the right progression.
Well, especially
for you.
younger in your career, you look at the leaders, you go, man, they make great money. Yeah. Look at them. I want to be like them when I grow up. And then you realize, man, they're in meetings all day and they're dealing with people issues. And unless you love that stuff, don't step into it just for the bigger paycheck.
It's true. It wears off quickly, folks. Let's go to JC in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. How can we help?
Hi.
Hi.
My question for you today is, how can I be successful in budgeting and that ultimately leading success in paying down debts and saving for a house when our income is sporadic?
How sporadic are we talking?
Amount. My husband can get paid large sums of money like once a week or every 2 months.
Are there months with $0?
The month last February, the most we had the entire month was $1,200.
Okay. And are you bringing in income as well?
No.
Okay. So if it's all on him, we've got to, and where are you at in the baby steps?
Probably the beginning, because we started paying down debts and saving money, and then we got to a few months where we didn't have enough income to cover the bills, and it ate up all of our
Well, I'm going to help you with this. I'll give you the short answer now. I'm going to gift you 1 year of Every Dollar Premium, and inside of that, there's a paycheck planning tool which will help you with a regular income, which is awesome. But the key here is you create a prioritized spending plan if you have a regular income, which means we're going to budget based off the lowest estimate. So if we get $1,000 this month, where's it going to go? We need food, shelter, utilities, transportation. That is your A1. If there's extra money beyond that, we're going to apply it towards our other goals, our debts, a subscription, whatever those things may be. And so that will help you to create that priority list and then pay the first one. And then whenever the money runs out, that's when it runs out. And you may want to set aside money when a big lump sum comes in, set aside for those leaner months to help you with this. And for those of you that want to check that feature out, you can go to everydollar.com/George. We've got a really cool promo right now, 2-week free trial of Every Dollar Premium and $15 off at everydollar.com/George. But JC special, she's going to get it for free. Hang on the line, JC. We'll take care of you. And we need to get that income up. That's what I'm hearing right now. Consistent income is going to help.
I'll tell you what I'm hearing. You're such a giver.
That's what I do.
Giving
Generosity.
free stuff away. You get
It's
the
Dave's
special website. It's unbelievable. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Thrilled to have you with us as we talk about your life, specifically your money, your work, and your relationships. 888-825-5225 is the number. I'm Ken Coleman. George Campbell joins me riding shotgun today. Let's go to Panama. Oh, down to the 30A. Panama City, Florida. Isaac is on the line. Isaac, how can we help?
Hi, Mr. Coleman and Mr. Campbell. Thank you for taking my call.
I've never felt so old in my life.
That's
thank you for the respect.
Sir.
Yes, thank you, Isaac. How can we help?
Okay, so I'm 18 years old. I will be a freshman in college this fall. I've been homeschooled all my life. And my senior year of high school, I took the Foundations and Personal Finance course. Quick shout out to my teacher, Miss Kim Vermilia, who taught me.
Nice.
After taking the course, I was fully on board with the Ramsey plan. I read Financial Peace Revisited. And so I'm all on no credit cards, not listening to financial advice from broke people.
Wow.
And I'm living on a written budget.
Dude, you have the wisdom of
He's got all the lines.
Sharp 60-year-old. So I'm really proud of you for figuring this stuff out this early.
Yes, sir. So I'm finishing up an internship that will pay me about $4,000 at the end. And I'll be working part-time as a math tutor as I go to college full-time. And I will be attending a local state college and living at home to cut down on my costs. and I have multiple scholarships, and my generous grandparents have a 529 plan for my siblings and I. So college will be well taken care of.
Wow.
And so I should be able to get through college without debt. And so I have some questions about as I enter adulthood in the finance world. So my first question is, should I start investing in my 401k while I'm still in college because I have so much margin? And then my second question is, when I write my budgets, do I have to include an item line for taxes?
Great questions. Okay, so what are you doing for work right now?
Right now, it's an internship at my local Navy base, and we're basically working with STEM outreach, and it's about to end actually today.
Okay, so what's next?
So next, I'll be going to college full time, and then I'll be studying for engineering, and then I will also have a part-time math job while I'm at it.
Awesome. So you won't have access to a 401k then?
No, I do have access to a 401k.
How is that possible if you're not employed?
I will be employed.
You said the internship is over.
Upcoming month.
But you're going to now go be an employee there at the Navy base?
No, I'm going to be employed at my local college, my local state college.
Got it. Okay, and they have a 401k program.
No, I'm opening up one with our family's financial advisor.
Okay, but a 401k is connected to an employer. Are you talking about an IRA?
I'm not really sure. I know I'm just opening up an investment or a retirement plan.
Okay, my guess is that's going to be an individual retirement arrangement, and that is a retirement plan that is outside of an employer. That's what was confusing me. You kept saying 401k. I was like, what? There's no employer here. Okay, so with the IRA, you're going to have much lower contribution limits, but it's a great thing. If you're telling me that college is covered 100% and that you have some money in the bank already?
Yes, sir.
How much?
I've got enough. I'm not quite sure, but from what my grandparents told me, I could have taken an out-of-state school and still been fine. So they said I'm well covered.
So if that's covered and you have a small emergency fund while you're in college and you're bringing in income, then you can and should contribute to a Roth IRA. That's what I would do if I was in your shoes. And if you can max that out every year, this year it's $6,500, you will be crushing it and cruising later on in life as that money grows for you. And I would invest inside of that Roth IRA. You're going to have so many investment options. So when you sit down with your financial advisor, you tell them, hey, I want to do it the Ramsey way. I want to be spread across 4 different types of mutual funds to diversify and spread this thing out. And that will put you in a really, really great spot. And that's all the investing I would do for now until you have a full-time job. You'll probably have access to a different retirement plan, and you'll be off to the races then. Now, as far as taxes, are you saying you're just normal, your tax returns?
Yes. All I know is that the government will require taxes of me sometime, and I've just not sure how to do it. So I know it's different right now because my part-time job probably won't put me at any high income or income tax or anything.
Yeah, so here's what you want to figure out. Does your employer take out taxes? My guess is that they will, unless you're like a 1099 contractor. And if that's the case, I would set aside whatever money you get, just set aside 25% of that, just move it over to a savings account. So that when it comes time to do your tax return, you will have that money because you're going to have a bill. And you can also do something called quarterly estimated payments to the IRS if you know you're going to have consistent side income coming in like that.
Okay.
So that you can work with a tax pro. You can get connected at RamseySolutions.com as well as a SmartVestor Pro for the financial advising side. But man, what a sharp young guy.
Yeah, he's got it together. And this is what happens, parents, when your kids watch the foundations in personal finance.
I was talking to like a grown adult.
Yeah, he really had it stuffed down. Really great. He's off and running. Let's go now to Emily, who joins us in Madison, Wisconsin. Emily, how can we help?
Hi, I am in the process of possibly buying my first home. I'm 28 years old. I currently make $42,000 a year. I work for Thrivent Financial. I do have some debt that I'm concerned about when it comes to being able to afford a house, and I was just kind of wanting your guys' opinion on that.
Okay, how much debt do you have?
Including my car, so my auto loan is around $10,800. I have 2 credit cards, one of them with a balance of $650. The other one's around $400. And then I also owe on tuition, which is $968.
Okay. So let's call that, 13 grand or so?
Yes.
Okay. So how quickly can we clean up this 13 grand if we start selling some stuff around the house, get a side job, stop going out to eat? How quickly could we get rid of this debt?
So I actually clean houses like Airbnbs, VRBOs, and then privately owned vacation homes in the area. And it's a friend and I that do this, and so we don't have an LLC, and they actually pay us in cash. We get paid once a month through that, and then I actually plan on, at the end of this month, taking a decent chunk of that and putting that towards all of my debt.
Good. I would take all of it and throw it at the debt. That should be your singular focus right now. Do you have any money in the bank?
I have $5,000 in a savings account for the purchase of my home, and then I have around $2,500 in my savings account.
So you got $7,500.
Yep.
Okay.
And then for the purchase of my house, I also have a mutual fund with $3,000 in there.
Okay, we're at 10,500
from a grandparent.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to give you some good news and bad news. The good news is that you have $10,500 cash, which is awesome. The bad news is you keep saying this is for the house, this is for the house, and if you're following the Ramsey plan, which I'm telling you is the best path to a peaceful financial life and doing this the right way, that money, most of it's going to go towards the debt. Baby step 1, $1,000 in a savings account. Everything else is going towards that consumer debt. But guess what? That would knock out your car loan like today almost, right? If you put $9,500 towards that thing, next month or two, that car loan's gone. And now we're down to what? $2,000 left of debt?
Yes.
And then once we have that done, let's get a fully funded emergency fund. On top of that $1,000, let's stack 3 to 6 months of expenses, and then we can start saving up for the house.
Okay.
Now that's going to delay your house purchase, isn't it?
Yes, and that's the situation that I'm in right now, is that my current place, I'm needing to be out of here by October.
Okay, well, let's go rent somewhere else, and if we need to get a roommate, let's do that. But we're not ready to just jump into a house because our lease is ending. That is a real bad decision.
Emily, here's what I want you to hear. When George tells you this, you don't have enough money to really saved up for a significant house down payment anyway. So this is going to free up so much money in your budget, actually reduce your expenses. That's why this is such a good move. You're not going backwards. You're actually moving forward when you use that money to pay off this debt. Then now we get very serious about the emergency fund. Then we start saving for the house, and it's going to be worth the wait. I promise. Renting's not a sin in your situation. Good hour, George.
Good stuff.
Thank you, James Childs and the team, and thank you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show.
Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio. This is The Ramsey Show, where we help you win with your money, your work, and your relationships. The phone number is 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. I'm Ken Coleman. George Camel joins me this hour, and we are here for you, taking your money questions and your long-term, short-term work and professional questions, because that affects your income. They all go together. I'll be here to help you with those questions. And George has got you covered on the money stuff. And here we go. Let's get going. Chris is joining us now in Denver, Colorado. Chris, how can we help?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I am calling to ask about paying off our house. We are on baby step 4, 5, and 6, and my husband just lost his job about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
What happened?
That is a really good question. He was a paramedic for 28 years, and this came out of the blue. So we're still trying to figure out we're still trying to figure it all out.
Any severance at all?
A small amount, yes.
Which would give us what that's going to cover. Is that any portion of his income?
They said it's 3 months. He did a lot of overtime, so they say 3 months, but it's not really what he would make in 3 months because he worked a lot of overtime.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
And are you working outside the home?
Yes, I am a teacher.
Okay. And so what is the current household income?
I make about $50,000.
All right. Is that enough
actually,
to get you guys by?
Well, that's my question. We will not be able to pay all of it just on my income with our house payment and all the bills. I've already paused all of our retirement withdrawals and all that. So we have that small settlement, and then we also have our emergency fund. But we're in the middle of a remodel project on our house. Our son is going to college in about 2 weeks, and our daughter is getting married in October.
Oh, my.
This is the perfect storm, isn't it, Chris?
It is.
Goodness
it really
gracious.
is. Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going to be the best for us to do. The remodel is about 75% done, but we are planning on cash flowing the rest of it as well as what we have left on the wedding. My son has done awesome, and he's got scholarships, and he is prepared to hopefully pay what he will need, at least for this year. So my question is, do we use the emergency fund that we have and what we're getting from the company, and do we pay off the house? Because it would be really tight, but I think we can pay off the house, and then my income would be able to meet our bills.
What's left on the mortgage?
I'm sorry?
What's left on the mortgage?
About $56,000.
Okay. And how much money do you think you guys would have a pile of cash once all said and done?
It honestly depends on, we haven't received the money from the company, so it depends on how much comes out in taxes. It's going to be very close to that $56,000 with what we have.
I would pause. This feels like when you're going through a storm like this, I don't like making a giant financial decision. And because we don't know when he's going to have stable income, let's wait until he does and then look at the pile of money we have. And so if he has his income back, he's rocking and rolling, and now we have this pile of cash we can throw at the house.
Well, I have a quick question, Chris, and I may have misunderstood. If the $56,000, you said, would that include your emergency fund money?
Yes.
No, we don't want to use that. No.
Because you have no house payment. Now the HVAC is out, and now we're extra screwed.
You see where we're going here?
Okay, yeah.
That emergency fund is for an emergency. Now, let's be clear. Him losing his job feels like an emergency.
Yes.
I know. And I do not want in any way to minimize that, okay? Because the research shows, the psychology research shows, George, that losing a job has the same traumatic impact as losing a loved one, okay? So I feel bad for your husband, too, especially the way you answered that question. We're not even quite sure what's going on. I didn't want to dig into that because, frankly, it doesn't matter. But that emergency fund must stay in place for emergencies. He's got a little bit of breathing room. Does he have 3 months of breathing room? You said maybe not. But he's got a couple of months. He's also a paramedic, an experienced paramedic. My guess is he's got some options. True or false?
He's done with the medical field. He's 28 years as a medic has taken its toll on him, physically, emotionally. So he's done with the medical field. So he's now looking at changing careers, trying to figure out what that looks like.
But let me just say this: if I had him on the phone, I'd go, "Listen, man, this sucks. The way it happened to you, I don't like it. You weren't treated with dignity, and I understand you've been burned out. You've been doing it a long time. But the worst thing, the absolute worst thing that he can do is just sit and look for jobs. And I don't mean sit as in he's going to be lazy or whatever. But this idea of just kind of soaking in this loss and looking for a job, he needs to go work. Do you understand what I mean?
He is.
Oh, he is. He's working a side job?
Yeah. So
where does that figure into the numbers? So give George. So what's he making? Because if he can even make $20 an hour, $25 an hour doing something, that adds into the budget here.
Now we can cover all the bills.
So he's applied for 9 different jobs. He had an interview last week, and they actually offered him a position. But leaving that, he felt like God said, no, that's not your job. It would have been a fourth of what he was making, and he just did not feel like that was his next. So
all right. I feel that. But what's he doing now? What's he making?
So our soon-to-be son-in-law has a construction business, and they just started a big project. So he is 5 hours from our house working for him. And I don't know, there was no agreement on how much he was going to be paid. He felt like this is what he was supposed to do, and so he was just being obedient. And so that's what he's doing. So it's not going to be consistent, and I don't know how much that is at this point.
I think we need to get that on paper, because if he's making $4 an hour, I'd rather him go into work at Burger King down the street.
That feels a little weird. This is the soon-to-be son-in-law. Hey, Pops, come work for me. We'll figure it out once you get here. I don't like that. And here's the other thing. He needs to be bringing in consistent income.
Yes. Yeah, he knows that, and he does. He is a great provider. He has always been a provider. That's why he's been in this extremely stressful job for 28 years. So I have no doubt that he is going to provide and do what he needs to do. I think this was a opportunity to go do something that he already knows. His side gig has been doing construction. So even when he was working as a paramedic, he did basements and remodels and bathrooms.
To me, that's the bridge. That's the bridge. Don't sell your house. Don't empty the emergency fund.
Okay.
Is that what I'm hearing, George?
Yeah, I was just saying, should I pay off the house? I would not pay this off until we have. Let's get through all of these crazy storms with the wedding and the college, and let's figure out what the new normal looks like.
Yeah.
Then let's look at the buckets of money we have and go, all right, we're ready to pay off the house. But do not clear your emergency fund for this.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay.
And you're in great shape. George, $56,000 is doable once he gets a reset.
And they'll
pay that house off pretty quickly.
Let's get some clarity on this income ASAP. Let's figure out what he's getting paid hourly or for the job, for the project, and make sure it's worth his time. Because he's too talented to be wasting it not knowing what he's getting paid.
Yeah. Wow. I hate to hear that.
Oh, you know what? I want to send him Ken Coleman's book, From Paycheck to Purpose, as well as the Get Clear assessment.
There it is.
Because he's at a crossroads. I'm not going to call maybe a midlife crisis. I don't know.
It took the words right out of my mouth. It's
so
what he
Ken's
needs.
resources will help. Hang on the line, Chris. We'll get you From Paycheck to Purpose, Ken's best-selling book, and his Get Clear assessment.
Yeah, love that. All right, quick break, and we'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show.
Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by George Camel. We're Ramsey Personalities, and we are your hosts today. 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Let's go down to hot Atlanta, Georgia. Tammy's there. Tammy, how can we help?
I apologize for my friend Ken.
She chuckled. I heard a chuckle.
That was a pity chuckle. I know a pity chuckle.
That's not a pity chuckle. That was involuntary. It made her laugh, George. See, look, there's more. There's more of it.
She's an easy laugh. How's it going, Tammy?
Oh,
Tammy, how can we help?
There. Thank you for taking my call.
You bet. What's up?
Well, I moved to Georgia a year ago. I'm actually born and bred in California.
Oh, okay.
I made some big decisions last year. I apparently was following the baby steps before I knew about the baby steps.
That means you have common sense wisdom.
Stream clear. I'm sorry?
That means you have common sense wisdom.
Yeah.
It's a great sign.
Well, maybe in part.
Uh-oh. I feel like something else is coming.
I own my house free and clear. I have zero debt. I have $25,000 in my slush fund, so I have more than enough for my 3 to 6 months emergency fund.
Okay.
I have $250 that I put in a CD once my stepfather passed, and I put it there because I didn't know what to do with it at the time.
Okay.
So it's sitting there now. My son is a financial advisor. Please don't tell him I called you.
All right, we won't.
He wants me to invest it.
Sounds like a financial advisor to me.
Mm-hmm. Sneaky.
I am perfectly comfortable when it comes to real estate. I've owned 8 properties over time. But investing in the market scares me to death. I am actually considering taking no more than 100 of my 250, and I'd like to consider buying a property in Italy.
Oh.
Reason being is that I've got another 7-10 years working life in me, but my dream is to travel, and I would love to have a home base. And in the next forever, as long as I'm working, I can go there as my home base and travel throughout Europe when I have vacations. And when I do retire, I might find myself with options.
Are you seriously considering living in Italy full time once you retire?
It's a consideration.
Where in Italy? I have to ask.
Central. Northern Italy tends to be more expensive. Southern Italy,
Can you buy property in Italy for $100,000?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Cash all the way, or is that a down payment?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I think Ken and I are now considering.
Now, we're not
I'll be
talking
honest
about a
with you.
villa in Tuscany.
Sure.
We're talking more of a townhouse in Abruzzo, okay? But
That's
it
where
would be
my
a
mind
home
was
base.
going. Glad you brought that up.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I've never heard of that place, Central Italy. But it can't be that bad. I bet it's lovely, isn't it?
It's beautiful. The
So-
Maella Mountains, the Adriatic Sea, you're in between the both. It's
So this is a great dream.
villages.
So what is the
holding you
dilemma
up?
here?
Yeah, what's going on?
I've done all my have-tos. I've been divorced for 13 years. I've raised my children. All of them are doing wonderfully.
Great. Are you looking
but
for
I did
permission to
all
pay
my-
cash for a house in Italy?
I'm sorry?
Are you looking for permission to pay cash for a house in Central Italy?
I'm looking to know if I should rather invest $250,000 in the market and not have a piece set aside for my dream. That would be a
Well, first of all, your dream can happen.
a bad idea.
I don't
You
think
know?
there's bad ideas. I just think we need to you're looking at it very black and white, and I think there's a whole lot of gray here. So here's another option. What if you take $100,000, you buy the spot in Italy, and you still have $150,000, and you invest that into the market? Maybe in a taxable brokerage account, into index funds, where you don't have to. It's not a distrust. I mean, it's going to appreciate over the long term if history plays out. And so that's what Dave Ramsey does. I'll tell you that. He loves real estate more than anyone I know. He owns more real estate more than anyone I know.
I'm second in line.
And so if you're second in line, Dave would say, hey, when I get a pile of money, I park it in index funds until I'm ready to buy more property.
George, tell Tammy what the historical return has been in the stock market.
10 to
those
12%.
investments. Did you hear that, Tammy?
Yeah, but that has not been my experience or the experiences I've known from very close friends.
You have not been
So
investing in the right things.
Have they
if that's
been? Wait. Your close friends, have they been buying stocks, single stocks, and playing that game, or have they been investing long term?
My background is mortgage banking, and so of course we have 401k and all that for the employees. And I had one lady friend who had to put off retiring for 8 years when she was ready to retire because her 401k plummeted. The last year I was working, I just quit last year. I was in California, quit my job, sold my house, blah, blah, blah. But the whole last year that I was working, my 401k was costing me more than I was putting into it.
Yeah, but what's it doing?
Tammy.
What's it doing the last 4 or 5 months? You've been looking at it?
I have no idea because
It's climbed back.
It's climbed all the way back.
You just told
Tammy.
me I'm going to buy this property 7 to 10 years out. This is a good investment. So you're a long-term thinker, but not when it comes to the stock market. That's what hurts my brain.
Yeah, but
I'm a scared thinker when it comes to
I
the
know,
stock
but
market.
Tammy, you know what fear is based in? The unknown. You
Yes.
just admitted to us.
I'm not educated. I'm more educated in real estate than I am certainly
I know,
in.
but what we're telling you is George just told
Sit
you.
down with your son. He's a financial advisor.
Have
Say,
him
hey,
show you."
me the history of the stock market. Show me the history of the S&P 500.
Tammy, your 401k climbed all the way back over the last 4 or 5 months.
In 2022, the S&P 500 was down 18%. Can you guess what it's doing right now in 2023 so far?
Take a guess, Tammy. Give us a number.
I can't even give you a number.
It's over 20% up.
So,
But the thing is what if it goes down?
It's
at the
okay.
time that
You're not gonna.
I
It's
need
fine.
to retire.
You're
You
not
don't need it.
cashing out the entire 401k in 1 year, Tammy. You're going to withdraw only what you need. So your $1 million may go down to $800,000 temporarily, but you're not withdrawing $800,000 at a loss. You're going to withdraw
At one time.
$50,000.
do you own a home right now in the Atlanta area?
Yes,
You did say that. Yeah. What's that worth?
about $375.
Yeah. So you sell that when you're going to Italy anyway, and you're just putting that.
No, I'm not while I'm still working. The next 7-10 years, however long that
know.
may
He's
be.
saying
that
10
I'm
years
still
from
working.
now.
What I'm saying is when you finally check out 10 years from now, if you go to Central Italy or not, you're selling a house in Atlanta. You're going to be traveling. So that's more
Yeah.
money that's going to continue to climb. You're going to be fine.
What's your nest egg today? What are you worth?
$375, $25 in savings, $250 in a CD right now.
Okay.
$650.
Okay. So if I'm in your shoes,
I'm not at $1 million yet. I'm not at $1 million
And
yet.
that's my thing.
and
Let's
buying a
increase
house
our
in
net
Italy
worth.
Seems very frivolous.
Yeah, taking 20% of your net worth and throwing it on an investment property right now, I would not do that.
You have no retirement accounts from all those years in banking?
I do not.
Oh, so
I think it's time to get started.
You didn't contribute back then because you were scared.
Well, initially, way back in the day, it wasn't really a thing. When it started to become a thing, not everybody was involved.
Okay.
It evolved into a thing where it's mandatory.
Right.
You had to put
Yeah,
at
no,
least
I understand.
2%
I
in.
understand. All right, here's the deal. I think you should listen to your
it's something
son.
that's evolved over time. And then there was a period of time I wasn't working because I had 3 children and I had one
Sure.
child with special needs.
Sure.
So I
Well,
wasn't.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazing. You're in great shape. You have 7 to 10 years to pile up retirement cash. That's what I heard George say. Right, George?
Yeah. I would be piling up cash. Start investing now. The best time to plant the tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. So let's get started. Don't be scared of the market. You've got a ways to go to get your nest egg to where you can actually retire. So let's focus on that first before we jump to this dream. And you can always just travel and just rent a hotel, rent an
true.
Airbnb. You don't have to drop $100,000 to travel.
Ooh. Great
Just
call,
another option.
George, you're so smart. So smart. I love that.
Like Tana. I like her.
Yeah, she's great. This is The Ramsey Show. The Ramsey Show continues. We're thrilled to have you with us. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. George Campbell joins me. I'm Ken Coleman. Let's go to Gage, who joins us now in Salt Lake City, Utah. Gage, how can we help?
Yeah, so I am not really in financial issues, I guess, but I just, like you guys said in the last call, I couldn't plant the tree 20 years ago, so I'm starting today. I have never cared about money. I've always been, hey, if I have $1 after all my bills are paid right before I get paid again, then I didn't spend that last dollar. I've never been money oriented. That's not part of my value system. But now that I'm engaged and I'm moving along with my life, I decided to take myself seriously. So I started looking at YouTube videos, and I found George's YouTube channel that's brand new.
Yes. How about that? That's perfect.
My man. Can I say it is pretty funny? I do love all the cuts that you throw in there. A little heavy sometimes, but they are hilarious.
Thank you. All right, George is taking production notes. This is great. You get to hear directly from the people.
Thank you for that, Gage. I appreciate that.
Lighten it up a little, George, would you? Lighten it up.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a financial YouTube channel, not a comedy show. Jeez.
I think we need more comedy and finances, don't you, Gage?
That's what I'm going to tell
him.
Right.
I got you to watch.
I mean, hey, they say money can't buy happiness. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Anyway.
Well, how can we help today?
Anyway. So I moved back to my hometown in Roosevelt, which is just a couple hours outside of Salt Lake, and there's nothing to rent. There is nothing cheap to buy out here. We're in a labor boom, and so there are people flooding in. The trailer parks are full. The RV campsites outside of town are full with people living here in their campers. Basically, my only two options to get into a home are I stay with my mother and her husband for the next 18 months or so until I can get the rest of my down payment for my new home construction done, or I buy myself a camper and go into debt right now and do the same thing everyone else is doing. To have my own space with me and my fiance.
Everyone is broke, Gage. I don't know if you've looked around, man, but I'm not going to do what everyone else is doing. So I don't like either of these options right now. What's your income?
Agreed. Around 100. I work. It's basically a day rate. I get paid by the load, but it's usually $500 to $600 a day.
Awesome. So. Good income. Okay, and how much do you have saved?
I've only got 1,000. I was paying all my bills, quadruple payments, and I had 10 grand in savings. And after I watched your YouTube channel, it led me to the baby steps. And so I dumped 9,000 in my debt. I've got about 18,000 left in debt, consumer debt, cars, and tool trucks. I used to be a mechanic, so they are not cheap. But
can you sell any of that stuff?
Not really. I mean, I could, but they're so expensive that they depreciate extraordinarily fast. So I'd be getting literally pennies on the dollar.
Well, you said you used to be a mechanic. So are you using the tool truck still?
No. I'm not adding any more tools to my collection, and they're almost paid off.
Okay. I wouldn't keep it around if you're not using it. I'd still sell it, even if you're not going to make what you pay.
I have all the equipment to work on my own vehicles, and I do. So every time I need an oil change, tire rotation, swapping out tires on our semis and stuff like that at work. So I do use them, and they make my life and my job easier.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I could sell them, but I've got 20,000 into it. I'd get 4 maybe.
Well, here's the deal. You've got debt, and home ownership is not on the current horizon. We've got to clean up this debt, pay off the $18K, get a fully funded emergency fund, then begin saving up the down payment. So that is the plan. I don't like the idea of you. I mean, how old are you?
27.
Okay, so you're still young. You got plenty of time. If you did move back in with mom and her husband for a little while, I would have real strict parameters on it, and I have a real strict savings goal, saying, hey, I'm going to clean up this debt and walk away with $10,000 in the bank with my emergency fund. Then I'm going to go rent somewhere, even if I have to get 4 roommates. Now, if I'm in your shoes, I might just go get a bunch of roommates now.
Right.
And make something work.
So the issue isn't really financial there. It's availability. I haven't.
Can you move?
I've only seen. That's the problem, is that I can't find anywhere.
You can't move anywhere in the country?
I just don't believe that.
Okay, so sorry. The job I'm at is very, I don't know how to say this. it takes no skill, but I also have no skill. So I'm a truck driver in the oil field. You have to know somebody to get these kind of high paying. Like I could go anywhere.
And if you move to the next town over, you can't continue this job?
Not wide. So I've checked. So Duchesne is about 45 or 30 miles away, and Vernal is the next nearest town, which is about another 35, 40 miles away. I constantly have been looking in there. And I have not found any, like, okay, so I found one bedroom apartment for $1,500 a month.
Okay.
That was ridiculous. Like, it's just the environment here.
Man, Gage, dude, I'm on Team Gage. I'm trying to root for you. Yeah. You're not rooting for yourself. At every single turn over the 6 minutes, you've had excuses and why you can't and how this is the only option. And the longer you live like that, the longer you're going to stay broke.
You just said that you didn't have any skills. That's just simply not true.
So I didn't mean that, like, I don't have any skills. Like, I'm licensed to hell. I have my Class A
Gage.
CDL.
Gage.
I've got a ton of stuff. I'm wondering, so what are my options then? What is there? Because I've looked into the roommates. I'm not idly sitting by in my mother's house taking advantage of her.
Get a 2-bedroom with a roommate. That brings your rent down to probably $1,000 a month. Boom.
If there was a 2-bedroom available.
You're telling me in the next month there's going to be 0 rentals available across your entire 40-mile radius. I just don't buy that.
I'm telling you, in the last 3 months, I have not seen anything.
I think you're not looking hard enough. I just don't buy it.
What's the big challenge?
Okay.
I feel like what's the big problem you want to solve? What is it?
So like I said, I've been paying off my debt like crazy. By January, I should be debt-free and saving up. And so I'm currently living with my mother right now. And I'm wondering, should I get this camper and live out there?
Do not get the camper.
No, I'd rather you stay with your mom.
I get it.
I'd rather stay with your mom and get out of debt, follow our baby steps. Stop trying to make this more complicated. I know, but I'm trying to encourage you with a little bit of like, hey, no nonsense. I don't care if you stay with your mom for a while, that's fine. But you either go get a roommate, stop making excuses to why you can't find a place to rent. But if you want to stay with your mom for a while, as long as you're being intentional and getting out of debt and walking our baby steps out, then I'm fine with that. But that's a short-term solution because you need to fly. And I think there's something over him. You know,
you make $100,000. You can afford $1,500 in rent.
Yes, you can.
It's fine.
But I'm not going to argue with him on that. It's like, okay, if he can, I mean, to say that there's no place to rent,
and you can find trucking jobs all over the country, so you're not stuck. That's the problem. You just feel like I'm stuck. There's no options. I got to go into debt, and that's only going to compound the problem right now.
Yeah, it's time to fly, you know. And I think getting out of debt will give you a little bit more confidence. I feel a blanket of self-doubt that's hanging on this guy, and I hate that for you, Gage. I want to help you a little bit. Hang on the line. I'm going to give you 2 resources. One, the Get Clear Career Assessment. I think it's going to give you a level of self-awareness you've never had before, and I'm going to give you my book, From Paycheck to Purpose, which is like the field guide that'll lead you up the mountain you want to climb professionally. And the Get Clear Assessment will help you to identify that mountain. But man, stop making excuses and move forward. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by George Kimmel. Thrilled that you are with us. Our scripture of the day comes from Ecclesiastes 3:11. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart, yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. And from Ecclesiastes to Adam Sandler, because why not? Our quote of the day, you've just got to give yourself time. That's good advice, I think. Give yourself time to figure out what you're good at and what you're not good at. Can you do that in the voice? Do you have an Adam Sandler voice?
I think I would offend all people groups if I even attempted. It's a tough one to do.
Well, you got to get a little nasally. You got to get up high in the throat. That's where you start. It's like, so you just got to give yourself time. That's good advice.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So, I like the fact
that was without any rehearsal, so I was very nervous doing that. Thank you, George.
The best part of that quote is the fact that as soon as he started it, he reflected and said, I think that's good advice.
Yeah, because he's so real, yeah. And now I can definitely
It's the neuroticism. Him and I share that.
Yes. Oh, he's hilarious. Let's go to Anna in Birmingham, Alabama. Anna, how can we help?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
You bet. What's up?
So we are on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, and we are looking forward to upgrading our home to expand our family a little bit more in the future, and want to make sure we make the best choices to not set us back in some of our other goals in the future.
Okay. Give us some of the details.
All right. So we bought our current house in 2021, amazing interest rate, 2.5.
Wow.
And we have, just really lucked out on that one. We don't have any other debt. It's just a mortgage now. And we still owe close to $150,000 on it. And we are looking forward to buying another house in the next 3 to 5 years. And really, I don't know, is it worth acting like we're back in step 3B and just piling into our equity and like pausing retirement, pausing 529, or do we just truck along with what we've got going on now?
Why would you pause retirement?
Just to pay the house off a little bit faster and get more equity in there.
I wouldn't pause retirement. There's no point unless you had some kind of emergency storm where you would ever pause retirement in baby steps 4 through 6. So I would continue just paying down the mortgage as much as you can. Once the retirement's set, you've got a little going to the 529 plan for the kids, then put whatever's left towards the principal on the mortgage.
Okay.
And you said this is 3 to 5 years from now. What's your income?
Right. Loaded question. Somehow. It's 63-ish.
Is that household income?
Yes.
Okay. So this is going to be tougher to pay down the mortgage and upgrade to the new one. What's the new one going to cost?
That's what we don't know. We're kind of using, as much as we can put equity in this would help us make the decision on that.
Okay. And what's your current house worth?
It is worth now $235. We bought it for $165.
Interesting. How much did you put down?
Like $9,000. We had the lowest. The lowest.
Is this a 30-year?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I would just continue paying the house down normally. Do not pause retirement because you have the opportunity to retire broke. If you pause it now to try to pay down this house, and I want this money to compound for you guys. Yeah. And so there's a balance here. There's a delicate dance in baby steps 4 through 6, and you don't want to put all those eggs into one thing. So first comes retirement, then college, then we'll pay down the house.
And Anna, this is something that was, I don't know, George, what you think about this. This was a mental hack that I came up with early on when I first bought a home. I started looking at the amortization schedule. And,
love those.
Oh, do you?
They fire me up.
Yeah. So, do you look at yours?
Yes, we have.
All right. So,
and I'll put outrageous little numbers in there to see how could I pay it off in 1 year?
Well, but again, instead of just keep pouring into retirement, okay? Right. But by looking at that schedule and going, all right, if we were to put in just one, you start with one extra mortgage payment a year. What would that do over the next 3 to 5 years? We're working with the game plan you just gave us, okay? And then if you go, okay, what if I put in the equivalent of 3 or 5 and just see how because I just think you're going to get more equity over the next 3 to 5 years than you realize just by putting in a little extra where you can, but continuing on retirement. Does that make sense, George?
Yeah. Well,
I wanted to see that she's still making headway.
The biggest piece of this equation, as I look at it, is increasing your income.
Without question. That helps. You guys, have your joint income $63,000?
Yeah, so I stay home and homeschool the kids, but I'm also I work part time, but it's $7,000.
What does he do?
He works for a church.
Wow. Well, see, that's limited. It's just not like the corporate ladder. So, side jobs, things of that nature, maybe a side hustle business that you guys can get up and running. Maybe that generates $25,000, $30,000 a year. Those are the kinds of things you can do.
But right now, trying to upgrade a house is not
Not a good idea. And definitely don't pause retirement. George is right. You want to keep that momentum going.
So this might not be a 3 to 5 year journey. You might need to upgrade later on. You might need to make a more lateral move. You might need to make do with the space you have. But right now, the income is what's limiting you guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the call. Let's go to Sally now, who joins us in Austin, Texas. Sally, how can we help?
So my question is, I'm currently on baby step number 2, but I have already started 5, completed 6, and have an emergency fund. Basically what I need help with is I have money in those accounts to pay off all debts. Would that be a smart move, or would it be better to just start with the snowball method now with where I'm at?
By accounts, what do you mean? Lay out what's in the accounts and where they're at.
So my kids' college funds, both of them already have $50,000 in each account. Home is paid off, and in our emergency fund, we have $40,000. Our total debts only equal $124,000.
What are those debts?
So I have, those debts are a truck payment and a construction loan.
What's the truck payment? What's left on that?
We pay monthly $1,200.
On the truck?
Yes.
What is this truck for? Does it come with a refrigerator and a microwave?
No, it's just an impulsive purchase that we enjoy and have fun with.
I hope so.
But I mean, we don't struggle to pay it. It's not an issue. But
What's your household income?
We want to get rid of. Household income is $180,000.
Okay, fantastic income. What could you sell the truck for, and what's left on the loan?
The loan is $47,000, and it is worth more. I think we have an equity of 10.
Okay, here's a plan. I don't know that you're going to do it, but if you sold that truck, it would leave you with $77,000 or so on the construction loan.
Correct.
And then you could take the majority of that emergency fund, because right now you're in debt. So you're in baby step 2, which means we have a $1,000 emergency fund. That would then cut your construction loan about in half. And now making $180, how quickly can we pay off the remaining, $30,000, $35,000? Probably within 4 or 5 months?
Correct.
Boom. So the plan I just laid out, you are completely debt-free, and you'll be back to having a fully funded emergency fund with probably within, I'd say, 8 months at this rate.
Right. I guess, essentially, I could be out of debt tomorrow, but...
that's saying you're going to cash out your... What are you going to... Do not take out a HELOC. Do not cash out these college plans. Don't touch any of it.
Right. That was where my question was.
No.
Is it dumb to hold on to the money that I've already saved?
It's dumb to withdraw it with all of the penalties that you're going to pay.
Correct.
That is going to be a giant stupid tax, so it is not wise to do that. Use any liquid cash that has no penalty, which right now is only your emergency fund. That's the advice. Take it or leave it. It's what I would do. It's what Ken Coleman would do. We want to see you debt-free with a peaceful life. That's it. That's our vested interest.
That's all we need. It was a little bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. You're
there
debt-free.
It is. That's what we all come here for, folks. George Campbell, great hour. Thank you, sir. Always a joy to be with you in studio. To our fearless leader, James Childs, thank you. And the team behind the glass. And you, America, thank you. To wonderful folks in the lobby. You all are amazing. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's George Camel. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.